What is it that you long for? And when I ask you that question, what do you long for? I'm talking about the times when you're up late at night and you can't sleep, and you've got things going on in your mind and heart, and you're just thinking about where you want to be, or the deep longings of your heart, of the kind of man or woman you want to be, or the kind of family you want to have, or the things that you want to see happen at some point in your lifetime. What is it that you long for? This week, we're looking in John chapter 1, where Jesus has this incredible conversation with a man named Nathaniel. And Jesus says a few words, and then this Nathaniel comes to this revelation of, you are the King of Kings. You're the one that we've looked for, longed for all of these years. But I want to focus in for a minute on why Nathaniel reacted the way he did at what Jesus said. And so we're looking at John chapter 1, starting in verse 47, and just listen to this interaction between Nathaniel and Jesus. And I want to talk about how it relates to us personally and how we interact with him. When Jesus saw Nathanael approaching, he said of him, "Here truly is an Israelite in whom there is no deceit." "How do you know me?" Nathanael asked. Jesus answered, "I saw you while you were still under the fig tree before Philip called you." Then Nathanael declared, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." Jesus said, "You believe because I told you that I saw you under the fig tree? You will see greater things than that." He then added, "Very truly I tell you, you will see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man." It's really interesting why Nathanael responded the way that he did to Jesus. Because really all Jesus said to Nathanael was, "I saw you under the fig tree." Because Nathanael was wondering, well, how do you know me? You say I'm this man, that doesn't have any deceit. How do you know me? And Jesus says, well, I saw you while you were under the fig tree. And you think about, why did that mean something to Nathanael? Well, what did it mean that Jesus saw him while he was under the fig tree? Well, when I was studying this passage, I got thinking about some of the physical places in my life that I go when I'm contemplating deeply, or when I'm praying deeply. When I was at Bible school in Sussex, there was a place I used to drive to, and I would go off, and it was alone, it was away from everybody, it was out in the woods, and it was a spot that I didn't see anybody else, and I could just pray. And there's these deep longings I have in my heart to connect with God. I want to experience God in ways that are incredible, in ways that are beyond what I've experienced now. I have this inner longing for Him. And if I was to meet Jesus face to face physically, the way Nathaniel did, and Jesus was to name that spot in Sussex to me and say, "I saw you when you drove out to such and such a place," I would know that it was God who I was speaking with, because only God could see the inner longings of my heart. He was the one that I was praying to and talking to. And I have a hunch that that's what happened with Nathaniel, was that he had this place, this fig tree that he would go to and have conversations with God, and he had this longing to see God do great things. And so when Jesus said to Nathaniel, "I saw you while you were under the fig tree," all of a sudden Nathaniel was aware of all of these prayers, all of these deep inner longings that he talked to God about. And all of a sudden he realized that Jesus was saying, "I saw you there, Nathaniel. I saw you under the fig tree." And so then Nathaniel responds and he says, "You're the King of Kings. You're the Lord of Lords." And at that point he was ready. He said, "God, I will give you my whole life." And what Jesus says to Nathaniel is incredible, because he doesn't say, "Okay, great, follow me, accept me into your heart. That's the be all, end all." He actually spurs him on more. He says, basically, if I was translating it into how we talk today, Jesus was saying, "You ain't seen nothing yet. You've got this longing and you've come to recognize that I'm the King of Kings, but you just wait, because you ain't seen nothing yet. There's so much more." And I want to leave this thought with you this week. A.W. Tozer, he talks about dropping, in our pursuit of God, dropping the God and. Many of us, as Christians, followers of Christ, we're like, yeah, I pursue God. But there's other things that we pursue. I want to have a perfect marriage. I want to have a certain income level. I want to live in a certain place. We have these other pursuits, and it's like God and these things. And A.W. Tozer talks about just drop the God and. Pursue God wholeheartedly. Make Him your number one pursuit, your life devotion, to pursue Him, to encounter Him. And so I want to encourage you this week to think about the things that you long for, and Can you get to the point where you just say, okay, God, I'm going to leave that with you. It's not bad to have those longings, it's not bad to have those desires, but to pursue God wholeheartedly and to leave those other things with Him, to allow Him to lead you in your marriage and in your finances and all those things, but to make your pursuit to be Him and Him alone.